and Ken, reflect upon that because there is no reflection and taking of responsibility for what has happened in Iraq, and that assures the same strategy will be applied again. And I'm thinking, of course, all of us are thinking about Iran. The same mechanisms are in place. The lack of democracy in Iran. They never mention the fact that there is a democracy in Iran, and it's an Islamic democracy. It's what the Iranian people seem to be content with. But Saudi Arabia, the closest ally, one of the closest allies of the United States in the Middle East, has no democracy whatsoever. We never hear about that. But Iran will be targeted for democracy change, when they already have it. I mean, again, the American people are so grossly uninformed. Go ahead, Ken.
There's a couple of points that need to be made here. One, the war crimes and crimes against humanity cannot be overstated. In Fallujah, they are advising women not to have children because we use so much depleted uranium, white phosphorus, which is a chemical weapon, and other experimental weapons, that the area is so toxic that the birth defect rates have gone through the roof, child cancers. And if you've ever seen the pictures of these depleted uranium babies, and you know what the definition of crime against humanity is, it is disgusting and criminal beyond description. The other point that needs to be made, that while Saddam Hussein was in power, there was no Al-Qaeda in Iraq. In fact, Saddam Hussein would have been the first one to execute anyone who would have been found to be linked to Al-Qaeda. And then if we're to believe the official version of history after the occupation, we're supposed to believe that this ISIS creation, which is a creation of Western intelligence agencies, we're supposed to believe that all of a sudden all these Humvees and all these American weapons just accidentally fell into the hands of ISIS, which wreaked havoc, cutting off heads all over that region, all over Iraq. We're supposed to believe that that was an accident. All the while, as Mohammed has mentioned and you've just mentioned, our best friend and ally in Saudi Arabia, which, by the way, is an extension of Israel, Saudi Arabia, the exporter of all of that Wahhabi doctrine, which is the seedbed of ISIS, is our best friend and ally. So we created the context in which ISIS was created, and ISIS has wreaked havoc, and it was never a popular movement at all. Every genuine Muslim knows damn well that ISIS is an affront to Islam, and even in Basra, on a yearly basis. Last year, was it reported in the Western media at all that there was about 20 million Muslims who protested and demonstrated against ISIS and were making clear that ISIS has nothing to do with genuine Islam? We created that, and again I say that's not an accident. The creation of ISIS is not an accident. We know that Al-Qaeda is the CIA database. That was not an accident. These are the Frankensteins that Western intelligence agencies and Mossad create in order to justify our policies in the region, which are basically to destroy that entire region, to balkanize that region so that ultimately Israel can expand. The American government is bought and paid for by Israel. And it couldn't be more obvious. Netanyahu's 3 visits to the U.S. Congress, where these sycophants, traitors in the U.S. Congress, sit there and give him 29 standing ovations, tells you everything about who owns the U.S. Congress, which is nothing but a den of traitors.